Speaking of coming home, is there? I mean, not now. I mean, Al Ahly could come back and say, here's another 3-year contract. There's a lot of money in the Gulf here now. All of them want to retire at home. Is there that sort of thing to say, in 5 years, in 6 years, one day,
yeah, I would love that. I would love to come back home and play. I mean, I appreciate there's always been interest from other teams back home. And then we'll see when the time arrives. But yes, I would love to come back and play home. I will never rule that one out because it would be unfair also to my fans back home, to my mom. She also wants to come to the stadium a lot to just watch me play.
So, Bafetu, there have been rumors, there have been rumors speaking about the Percy Tao, Percy Tao, this and this, Percy Tao, that and that, So if you follow football trends at QP, which is sometimes there are some of those stories and Ngazlandelated that much because most of the time, like I've said before, and I continue to report this, sometimes, Isokala Duma, they do report things. And for me personally, I don't take everything they say according to it as something that is legitimate. If ever they said something, I need to wait for my trusted sources first to confirm that's true or when. So recently we've heard talks about Percy Tao and Kaizer Chiefs being interested, making calls in this Vananalezo. But today, just like me, I was intrigued and curious to hear what does Percy himself have to say in terms of all that was happening. Even though we heard Nasreddine Nabi coming out to talk himself, saying they have not approached the Fistin Mayele, they have not approached Percy Tao. And today I have something in terms of Percy Tao speaking himself. Now I will try, Bafetu, I will try the concrete information, legitimate information. If ever there's something that is out there and I'm not too sure about it, okay, I've seen something like this and this and that, but I'm not too sure in terms of whether it's true or not. But most of the time when I say I'm not too sure and I don't think it's true, it turns out Veluity is not true. But now let's just have a look to what Percy Tao said.
When you look at the season that you've just had now with Al Ahly, it's the second last year of contract. It's the time when you now start looking at the future a lot. Are you still enjoying your time in Egypt?
Yeah, I still do, irrespective of what's being written.
What's been written?
Oh, a lot of things are being written, or I'm leaving the club. I mean, it's normal for me. Because since I've been there, there've always been such reporting that I'm leaving the club. Person that have parted ways. He's got a problem with the coach and this, which is not true. But then it's just part of the reporting, which I'm used to. And then it gets a bit difficult and intense during the end of the season because of the transfer time. So yeah. But I mean,
that started a long time ago. It started when Peter was leaving, first, you say. And I worried. I remember when I had Peter on just after he had called you, to say, come and play for Al Ahly. I worried that if a coach that knows you personally calls you on, what happens when, and the rotation of coaches at Al Ahly is no small joke. It happens. Yes, it happens. I worried about you, but you transitioned nicely into the next coaches, and you've just been that comfortable throughout?
Yeah, look, like I say, it gets intense in some periods, but then I'm used to it. So, and I always have support of the people back home, my family, the fans back home. So I don't worry much. And then when Coach Peter was there, I knew at some point one of us will leave. So one has to prepare for himself what happens after. And then the club reassured me, you've got a contract here. It's just unfortunate that the coach has to leave. And then you'll continue with us. And I was like, okay, even though I did not need that assurance, because I knew, okay, when one of us would leave at some point. And then there were times where I still have to face what's being written. But then for me, it's mainly just to play football.
Let's go to some of those things, Percy, because, one of the big things is your contract ends in June of 2025, which is next year.
Yes.
You've got a year in your contract now, just under a year. Are there any conversations from yourself, because I could assume a club like Al Ahly starts talking to their players early, starts talking to the management early. Are there any conversations ongoing with you and Al Ahly as to what is happening with you in your future? You're still young, you're 30 years old. There's still a lot of football in your legs.
Yeah, look, I think everything just happened so fast. So with the reporting, because when I left the club, everyone was just happy to say, go on a break. We are all going on a break. Enjoy your time back home. Just follow the program, train whenever you can. And then that's where we're at. So, but as I know, my manager spoke to the sporting there. And then we'll see what happens if there's a new contract, if there's no new contract. But then I will all see what happens. I'm not worried. All I wanted was just to get the break and come back home. And just to spend some time. I think we still have enough time to really speak about the contract. I mean, we have a year right now, so yeah. But it's going to be difficult because we have to speak in these 6 months.
Well, let's put a lot of the rumors that are rife out of there then. Because if you're saying Alakli and I are fine, there's nothing untoward, there's nothing that they've said or I've said, I'm happy to be there, is what I'm getting from you.
No, that's exactly how it is. I'm happy at the club. The club is happy with me. And it's just, I mean, the club is a big club, so there's always be reports about every individual. That's why you've seen there was no official reporting from the club, from myself, because we felt these are just rumors. And then they just went on.
Though? I mean, because the fan base of Al-Ahly is probably on the continent. I can't think of a fan base
huge.
That is that.
It's really huge. And then they interact. They love their players. They love everyone in the club. So they always want to express their feelings. It just happens that sometimes there will be this reporting which are not true. I mean, the whole reporting that is being happening were not true. Even since when I arrived there, they were reporting about having a chronic injury.
Yeah.
And then I don't know where it comes from. So there's always been such reporting, and it's just difficult for South Africans that they are far away from what's happening there and they don't know.
Let's put some things to rest then.
Hey, Bafetu, as you can hear, a lot of those things that were reported are not true. But one thing I do know for sure, each and every time there's something that I report that I think are not true, okay, there's something like this and this and that, and I honestly don't think it's true. If ever it is true, then yeah, niggas are the proof of it. If you remember correctly, we talked about Nabi, and niggas are the proof. We talked about the games they were playing, and niggas are proof. We talked about I remember we talked recently, just a few days ago, we talked about the TS Galaxy. I said I'm not too sure, but if ever it is true, and I did, because I know there's still going to be, rumors out there. People are still going to talk. But the only thing I love about this channel, Football Transit QP, the right information that you are looking for.
Because a lot of people are saying, hey, we know he's in South Africa. He's got a year in his contract. He didn't play the last 4 games with Al-Ahly. What's going on? Are there any truths to you speaking to any team in South Africa?
No. No one.
Not you, not your management?
No one. We're not talking to anyone.
Has anybody spoken to you guys?
No. No.
Sundowns, Chiefs?
No.
You've heard the rumors though?
I've seen the rumors.
What are they saying?
Okay.
Barring.
Yeah, Barring. Okay, there's an opportunity for me at Kaizer Chiefs, Wydad, Saudi Arabia, some are even saying Tanzania. So I'm just looking, because they're just rumors, and I don't really have to entertain them much. But it's like I say, it's difficult for South African people who ask me every time when I was at home, check petrol, and be like, "Are you really coming? Are you going there?" Which is not true, and I always have to answer to such questions and say, "No, I'm not going anywhere."
Never even a conversation.
No, I don't even have the time to speak with the club about my contract situation also. Am I going to renew or what? We didn't even have the time. We were all just happy. We won the league, we won the Champions League, and we were getting a rest. So that's what I was happy about also, to just come home.
Speaking of coming home, is there, I mean, not now. I mean, Al-Ahly could come back and say, here's another 3-year contract. There's a lot of money in the Gulf here now. All of them want to retire at home. Is there that sort of thing to say, in 5 years, in 6 years, one day,
yeah, I would love that. I would love to come back home and play. I mean, I appreciate there's always been interest from other teams back home. And then we'll see when the time arrives. But yes, I would love to come back and play home. I will never rule that one out, because it would be unfair also to my fans back home, to my mom. She also wants to come to the stadium a lot to just watch me play, but she does not have that opportunity. And then my fans back home, they'll also love to actually see me a lot, because in the national team, it only comes in during the year, not a lot also. But then I would love to come back home. I just don't know when.
See, when you say because there's a lot of interest, people are like, hey, where's that interest? What are you talking about? What interest?
Yeah, but there's always interest in players where you also know, okay, certain clubs will love to have me.
So you have never even spoken to Coach Roland. Of course, you have a very close relationship with him personally.
No, I did not speak with him.
As far as work is concerned,
yes,
to say, would you be interested in joining me?
No, I did not speak with him about Wira. I just saw it on the news also.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You guys are not so close anymore?
No, we are close, but I did not speak to him about
work. Okay.
Well, Nazwela Wafetu, from the horse's mouth in terms of what has been happening. And I'm happy he clarified on some of the rumors. He has not spoken with Kaizer just before. There were no links. And I think this is to add to that thing. Go online, go on social media platform saying, they were trying to call him and there's one, but he did not answer the calls. Now, I'm not saying it's not true. But the only thing I'm saying is I'm not too sure whether it's true. And I don't think I believe it from the trusted sources. But so far, if ever it is true, maybe they're trying to be professional about it and keep their mouths shut. But definitely, if ever something does come up with it too, you know where to catch me. Football Transit QB signing out.